Hey everybody, it's Kika, your lifestyle blogger. And every year in December, I usually do what we call a vision board party. And I do encourage you to work on your vision boards. I'm actually going to be working on my vision board in the next week or so. I am doing it a little bit differently this year. And instead of planning for year by year, I'm going to take the challenge and do like a 5-year vision board. So if you're interested in that, make sure you watch my next video because it's going to be all about vision boards. But today I want to talk to you about your life plan. Now, many of you are probably saying, what is she talking about, a life plan? This is something that helps you live life comfortably, at least for me it is, and knowing that if something ever were to happen to you, your family would be taken care of. So while you're acquiring all these wonderful things in life, like your house, your cabin, your cars, and any tangible things that are precious to you, if something were to happen to you suddenly, which of course a lot of us never plan for, then you want to know that and feel at ease in taking care of yourself to get better or well, because maybe death is not the answer. So you're going to get better and come around from this. But in the interim, who is going to take care of things while you are down? So that's what the life plan is all about. So for me, I feel more comfortable knowing that I have something in place and something planned, just in case something were to happen. Not saying that it will, but having something just in case that it were to happen. So I took it upon myself and I went on and I did a little bit of research, and you can do this too. But I found that the Suze Orman, she's a financial wealth builder, life coach, all of that. And she has wonderful information. Some of the things I don't agree with her fully, but for the most part, 90% of the things she says, I do agree with. And so she has this wonderful platform where you can do the whole life plan and everything. And it's only $99 to buy the entire kit. And it helps you plan your will, your trust, your healthcare directive, and your power of attorney. And so I'm going to talk to you just a little bit about each of those things real briefly and what they mean. And then I'm going to show you her kit and then how you can apply this to your life and then put it into a little folder like I've done. So keep watching, more video footage coming up. All right, you guys. So this is the Suze Orman Financial Security Kit, and it looks like this. And you can order this entire kit for $99 online. It gives you a lifetime ability to go onto a website using a code and a password that you set up to be able to change your documents, because as life goes on, of course, things change. You get married, you get divorced, you have kids, you have additional grandkids, so on and so forth. So you're able to change things, and then things happen where people pass away, you want to take them out of your will, you want to add them to your will, all of that kind of stuff. So it's a lifetime thing. It's only $99. You can use this kit because she has it all sorted out for you. So you can look at your different debt and you can put it all in there. And then with that, you get a website. You even get videos from Suze Orman that you can watch. I have not opened up these yet. They're very important. I haven't opened them yet because I don't want the sad reality of the mistakes that I've already made. But anyway, I've used what I needed from the kit. And so what I did is I went online, went into each document, written all those things out, and then I put it into a little book for myself. And then I got it all kind of put out. So the first thing, I have the healthcare directive, because of course we're not going to be thinking about death is going to happen. So healthcare directive is basically something is if you get not able, you're disabled and you're not able to do certain things, or you're disabled to the point where you're not able to communicate certain things, who's going to be your advocate? And so her kit is so nice because I'm going to show you. I have to move all of this around. It gives you basic instructions for your healthcare directive. And it actually basically writes everything out for you. It just asks you some questions and you're adding names and information to it, and then it comes out like a beautiful legal document. And then at the very end of that, the only thing you have to do is get it signed. And so it's really, and then it gives you cute little cards that you can keep in your wallet to show that you have the healthcare directive. It even writes a letter to your doctor so that they can keep it on file for you. So I love, love, love that. So that's the first thing you want to have in your book, your life plan book. The second thing is you're going to want to have your power of attorney. So let's say you're in the hospital, you're getting better. You don't need to be thinking about bills and all of that stuff because that's just going to drag you down more. So you got all that planned. You got your people, your healthcare people in line. They're advocating for you while you're in the hospital, everything. But now you got bills still that needs to be paid. Who is going to be your financial person? So you need to think about that. So it even has the whole write-up on who you want for your financial people. So you put that in, you get it signed, you get it notarized. That's all done. That's in the book. That's in place. And what you're giving them access to. Then what you want to make sure is in the book is anything like your car titles, deeds to your houses, cabins, your birth certificate, social security card. Have all of that in the book so that way your people can just grab this book and they have access to everything that they need to have access. You might even want to put passwords and login information and all that stuff on a sheet in there too. And then you can keep this entire book in a safe and locked away. And then with a key. So then all you have to do is just hand them a key and then they can open it and then everything is written out for them. I put letters in there too, just to kind of guide them. This is how I want this handled. This is how I want this handled. You can do that too. So that way you're still advocating for yourself, even if you are at a point where you're unable to. Now let's say the absolute worst happens and something happens to you. So then you want to put your stuff in a trust. So what I decided to do, a lot of people put their stuff in a trust right away. But then while you're alive, you have to go through so much to revoke that trust, to change things and do all of that. So what I decided to do is the property that I have, I'm going to put that in the trust when something happens to me. So in the state of Minnesota, and I want you to check in your state too, you might have this, you have the ability to do a trust. So you make sure you have your deed, your titles, kind of all of that. But then it's called a transfer upon death. So you fill out that form and you file it with the county and keep copies in this book along with your deed and along with your trust information. And then what you're going to do in the transfer upon death information, instead of putting an individual person, because of course my kids are all in my trust. I didn't want to put them individually because you don't know if something happens to you, if they're having financial problems, if someone's coming after them for their assets, then they can take your assets too, and then it won't stay in the family. So it's probably best to do the transfer upon death. But when you transfer upon death, you want to transfer then to your trust. And then you have your trust in this book all spelled out of exactly how you want your trust handled. So when you pass away, all your assets will go right into your trust. And of course, your kids or whoever you name are the beneficiaries of that trust, everyone. And so that way it's protected. Protected from the courts, protected from any litigation, protected from any legal binding things that maybe your beneficiaries have going on. And so that everything is protected. So that's important. And then you want to do your will. And your will is basically for your tangible items. Not necessarily for your real estate and things like that. I mean, you can name that in there, but you have to do other documents above and beyond that. I've learned that with the situation that my dad was trying to handle for years and years with his dad. His dad wrote a handwritten will about the house and everything, but in legalities, all the other stuff wasn't done. So he was in court, and by the time the court was all done, everything was kind of exhausted and there was no house to be gotten anyway. Luckily, a family member ended up buying my granddad's house. But anyway, make a long story short, in your will, your tangible items, like maybe a car you want to leave, your jewelry, maybe some collectibles, things like that. You want to spell that out in your will, and then your executor of the will make sure that gets to certain people. Now, right now, I have my dad as my executor. He is older right now. But eventually I will change that as my kids get older. I will name probably my oldest son as the executor of the will. But right now it's going to be my dad because you never know what'll happen. So anyway, I have him down. He's a very responsible person that I know. And then you just want to name all those tangible things that are important to you in the will and who you want to give those things to. So that's what that's about. But your trust is the main and most important thing. Of course, you want to leave those to your children. And then if anything were to happen to your children, you want to make sure you name in there that it goes to their children. You want to make sure, for me, I want to make sure like the cabin and everything like that stays in the family. So all of that's going to be put in a trust, and it's going to be for the family to continue to use even after my death and I pass away. All right, so that is basically all of it in a nutshell of what you want to put in your, I call it an informational life plan guidebook. So you want to make sure you have something like this and just lock it up in a safe. Let your family and your kids know that this is something that you have. It makes life a lot easier. There's too many people that pass away, especially this time of year, and they don't have anything planned. They've lived their life and they don't have anything planned. And a lot of people have that fear of, if I plan that, that means that's going to happen. That doesn't mean that's going to happen. Just plan it, lock it up, and then forget about it. It's done. And then maybe you want to think about it from time to time when you want to change some things on there, but just plan it, lock it up, forget about it. Then you can live your life healthy, happy, comfortable, and you don't have to worry about what's going to happen to these things, because I am trying to build just kind of a life wealth. So that way I can make sure my children and their children and on will be taken care of. So you have to think of those big successful businesses like McDonald's, KFC, or, you know, all those other big businesses that are going to end up living on and on and on. And the reason why they live on and keep going and making sure that that family is financially okay is because those people that built that wealth did something like this. When you don't do something like this and you're thinking, this is just for me, or I'm going to put this in this person's name and that person's name, that's not necessarily the right thing to do, because you don't know what kind of life struggles that person or whoever is going to have. And the government and whatever, if they owe something, they'll take it. So you want to make sure everything is set and in a safe place for your family. So thank you for watching. I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, leave your comments in the box below. Otherwise, keep watching. More video footage coming up.